They're the world's deadliest killer, responsible for 750,000 deaths each year. Mosquitoes spread infectious diseases including malaria, dengue, and yellow fever. But the tide may be turning in humanity's long battle with the insect, thanks to new technologies which could even see some mosquito species wiped out. In this video, we'll look at how climate change is helping mosquitoes spread further every year, and see how new methods are being used to stop them. And we'll ask, even if we could wipe out mosquitoes, should we? For the latest on this and all the world's biggest stories, don't forget to subscribe to AFP. Sri Lanka is facing a growing epidemic of dengue fever this year. Over 60,000 people were infected in the first half of 2026, more than double the 30,000 cases recorded in the same period last year, and already dozens have died.
It's partly related to our monsoonal rain episodes. We have just finished the southeast monsoonal rains, and following that there had been increase of mosquito breeding sites, particularly the Aedes mosquito breeding sites, and that had led to the rapid rise of dengue cases.
As global warming affects the climate, mosquitoes are gaining ground. Data from the European Centre for Disease Control shows how invasive Aedes mosquitoes have progressed across the continent in just the last 6 years. Even northern parts of Europe, like Scotland, are now facing problems with mosquito-borne infections.
If you'd asked me 10 years ago what was the risk of ever finding a mosquito-borne disease in Scotland, I would have thought it was minimal and not something that I was going to see in my lifetime. But climate change has really accelerated the pace with which things are changing.
Warmer climates mean mosquitoes are also active for more of the year. South Africa is used to dealing with mosquitoes in summer, but now malaria cases are being reported in winter as well.
That mentality of associating malaria with summer, we need to forget about that one, because honestly speaking, even in winter we continue to see transmission.
Spraying large areas with insecticide is a crucial way of protecting populations here. But such methods are resource intensive, require harmful chemicals, and are often unable to fully stop the spread of disease. So are there better ways of protecting ourselves? Here in Brazil, Luciano Moreira has been hailed for his work to stop mosquitoes carrying the dengue virus by infecting them with bacteria called Wolbachia. It's a naturally occurring pathogen which appears in other insects but not mosquitoes. Once infected, the harmless insects are released into the wild, where they pass the bacteria onto their offspring. Within a few months of interbreeding, they replace the mosquitoes that spread dengue.
É método natural, autossustentável, porque a gente faz a implementação e não precisa mais voltar, e é seguro, porque a Wolbachia não passa para as pessoas, não vai causar doença para a pessoa, não vai causar nenhum problema para o meio ambiente e nem para outros animais.
When infected mosquitoes were introduced in Niterói near Rio de Janeiro, a study found dengue cases dropped by 89%. 15 countries are now using this method, but rolling it out widely will remain expensive and complex. While the science is now well understood, the obstacles can be social issues.
Antes, no Rio de Janeiro, por exemplo, onde tem muitas favelas, muitas comunidades que a violência não deixava chegar e liberar mosquitos, isso eu acho que é importante colocar. Então, quando você não consegue fazer essa liberação estruturada por cerca de 4 a 6 meses, os níveis de Wolbachia não chegam onde deveriam chegar.
While a promising approach for combating dengue, Wolbachia unfortunately hasn't yet been made to work for malaria, so scientists are studying other methods. One of these is genetic modification. In the lab, it's been possible to make malaria-carrying mosquitoes infertile, and scientists hope to start testing this in the field by 2030. But genetic modification can be controversial. Trials were meant to start in Burkina Faso, run by a group called Target Malaria and funded by the Gates Foundation. But after protests and disinformation campaigns, the government shut down the project. Here in the south of France, a different technique is being used to sterilize mosquitoes: X-rays.
Il y a différentes approches pour de la technique insecte stérile. Nous, on stérilise les mâles en les exposant à des rayons X. Donc les rayons X vont uniquement impacter les spermatozoïdes des mâles. C'est non OGM, c'est non chimique. Donc ça permet d'avoir une approche écologique et autorisée. Les mâles vont s'accoupler avec les femelles sauvages, mais elles ne pourront jamais avoir d'œufs. Ici, vous voyez un accouplement. Donc en dessous, c'est le mâle.
This facility is now making 1.5 million sterile mosquitoes every week, with a target of raising that to 40 million a week in the next 2 years. Once they're ready, the mosquitoes are released into the wild.
Est-ce que vous entendez le son?
Le terrain, c'est les quartiers, les campings. C'est là où les gens souffrent du moustique-tigre en termes de nuisance, de qualité de vie, mais aussi où il y a un risque de transmission de maladies. Donc l'objectif, c'est de pouvoir diminuer les densités de moustiques-tigres fortement et durablement.
The sterile male technique has been used to wipe out agricultural pests before, sometimes across whole countries. But would it be right to wipe out a whole species worldwide? Well, firstly, to get rid of mosquito-borne diseases, we wouldn't actually need to wipe them all out. Of the thousands of mosquito species, only a handful are dangerous to us. Moral considerations remain, of course, and there are some concerns over their role in the food chain. But in places where mosquitoes have been wiped out locally, the impact of this hasn't been significant. For many scientists, the trade-offs are worth it.
Most mosquitoes don't bite people at all, but some of them kill, and kill hard. Half a dozen mosquito species. But would we say the world is a better place without those few mosquitoes, all the other mosquitoes still carrying on? Yes, the world would be a better place because that's 500,000 African children who wouldn't be dying every year. Does it come down to that? I'm sorry, but it does.
Another avenue is vaccination. In recent years, a malaria vaccine has been rolled out. While this has been a success, particularly for children, researchers are struggling to make its effects last longer than a couple of years.
If by magic we could get a malaria vaccine that was as good as measles vaccine, it gives you more or less lifetime immunity, more or less 100%, that would be a complete game changer. But I think we know now better than 50 years ago, we know better that that's not going to be possible.
The final key way to cut down on malaria is through practical improvements to sanitation and public health. This is mainly how southern Europe and countries such as China have become malaria-free over the last 70 years. The most likely scenario is that there will be no silver bullet for tackling mosquito-borne diseases, and that a combination of approaches will be needed. Beyond scientific advances, political commitment will also be key. But as climate change helps mosquitoes spread across the world and stay active for more of the year, the problem will only become more urgent.